Good day everyone. In this part of video, I will discuss the wondrous concept of physical self and how every person can relate, especially you, of what can you do to yourself to become the better version you always dream of. First of all, you should always remember that each and every person is unique, not just in personality, but also the style of how they present themselves in social aspects. So don't let your shortcomings dictate you to degrade the value of yourself. Just like the great philosopher Plato once said, the body is temporary, but the soul is immortal. So having a good character is more important than a physical self. But this doesn't mean that we should forget about this aspect, so let's dig in deeper. The physical self refers to our body, as it is a tangible object that can be directly observed and examined. Just look at this picture. You can see and compare the differences by just having a look. And here are some theories of different perspectives of physical self. According to William James, the physical self considers the body as the initial source of sensation and necessary for the origin and maintenance of personality. For Erik Erikson, the role of bodily organs is especially important in early developmental stages of a person's life. The Indian tradition views growth and enlightenment as the whole body event, which is not possible until one has pure and strong body. What does having a good physical self entail? It may convey important message about your social status or culture, so people may use this as basis to judge you. And if you internalize the negative feedback, it may lower your self-esteem. And also, there's a cognitive bias that plays an important role, called halo effect. Halo effect refers to the tendency of people to rate attractive individuals more favorable for their traits or characteristics as compared to those people who are less. So this is apparent, especially in conversation with people. They are more attentive if the one they're talking to is attractive, otherwise they will want to finish the conversation as fast as possible. So this is why we should take care of our physical aspect and be always presentable. Thank you.
Hi guys, in this video we're going to talk about beauty and self-expressions across cultures. They say that beautiful is in the eye of the beholder. This means that beauty is relative. Each one of us has his own perception of beauty. So contrary to what a lot of people probably think, beautiful it holds a lot more meaning than you can possibly imagine. Apart from the physical aspect of beauty, which means being beautiful in the outside, it can also be means that you have a beautiful soul, you have a beautiful smile, you have a beautiful character, or anything. However, what the majority of people don't realize is that you can be beautiful in one country, but not even the slightest attractive in the other one. That's because every country has its own culture and every culture has its own perception of beauty. So I'm going to show you some picture examples of how different cultures define their own perception of beauty. In Kayan culture of Burma, long graceful necks are considered as symbols of beauty and elegance. Women belonging to this ancient culture wear multiple brass rings coiled up around their necks at a very young age, and the number of rings increases as the woman grows older. These women can wear up to 20 pounds of rings when they are adults. Women in Mauritania are lauded for gaining weight, as supersized bodies are considered extremely beautiful, sending young girls to fat camps where they are fed up to 15 calories a day. In their culture, being bigger in size makes a woman more desirable as wives. In Ethiopia and Sudan, intricate body scars that form multiple designs are a symbol of beauty for both men and women. Those who take part in this practice undergo excruciating pain to look beautiful, with facial scarifications and scar patterns all over the body. The Maasai tribe started the practice of ear stretching to alter their appearance and look more beautiful. However, cultures and tribes across the world now practice this art for various reasons, including physical beauty, religion, coming of age ceremonies, and even warding of evil. It is common among women even today in many tribes across Africa. The clay plate is the defining image of woman across Mursi and Sorma tribes in Africa. As soon as the girls of the community hits puberty, Their two lower front teeth are removed and the hole is pierced in the bottom of the lip that is then stretched out to accommodate the lip plate. The size of the lip plate gradually increased over the years as the ancient Chinese practice of boot binding, believed to have started around the 10th century, has long been abolished. However, there was a time when Chinese women underwent this painful practice to remove their bones of their feet into customary sizes to 3 to 5 inches by binding them. These lotus feet were believed to be beautiful of symbols of status and wealth in society. So now that you've seen some examples, let's talk about beauty through time. So of course in our culture, our beauty here in the Philippines develop and evolve, as years goes by. And I found a clip on YouTube from Cut. They did a time lapse of, you know, time lapse of makeup. They did a makeup on this girl that showing how the beauty of Philippines developed through the years. So So as you can see, there's a lot of difference in evolution and development of perception of beauty in our culture here in the Philippines, and that really affects our image in the present, because sooner or later you know um, our beauty will develop and evolve as as time will pass. So the question here is physical beauty really important? For me personally, it's yes, because for a lot of people, especially teenagers, like me, body image is closely linked to self-esteem, because body image is how you view your physical self, whether you feel you're attractive or how do you feel when people like your looks. Because if you have a positive body image, then you probably like and accept yourself and the way you are and who you are, like even if you do not fit in the popular notion of beautiful or handsome. Our physical beauty is also important to our mental health, because it affects on how we feel when people see us, or you know uh, what's their first impressions to us, or basically judge us on how we look. And that's really affects our emotions and how we think about our look. So I know that we all have our own personal insecurities about our body, and just like I said earlier, it is linked to our self-esteem. So let's just try to understand and appreciate on how people look, because people are complex and constantly changing. So let's just try to focus on what's unique and what's interesting about ourselves. So before I end this video, I just want to share and give my own personal thoughts and ideas about this topic. Just like I mentioned earlier, it really affects our self-esteem, and it is part of our mental health. So for me, you don't need to have a nice physical body or just to be beautiful, or at least being called beautiful. Being beautiful or handsome really depends on how you see yourself. It's all about mindset. Like, you just need to be positive and accept how you look like and what you are. Being confident is more than enough to be beautiful. Acceptance is the key to be confident. You don't think about what people think about how you look like how other people think about you. Just accept and be confident.
So what's up guys, this is Rocket Rosman, and today's video we're gonna talk about what is material self and why we need to talk about this and why we need to know about this material self very well. So without further ado, let's start. So there is a one person who said that material self is a primarily has four components. It includes the body, the cloth, home, and immediate family. So remember that the primarily components that includes in the material self. But before we will go through that, let's talk about this, or let's know about this man who said that. So he is a father of American psychology, and he is a Harvard psychologist in the late 90th century, who wrote the book The Principles of the Psychologies, and that the understanding of self can examine through different components, and which he used the term as the empirical self, which refers to all of the various ways of people in answering the question, who am I? So do you know yourself fully or not totally? Well, for me, answering the question, who am I cannot answer it direct to the point, because honestly guys, I didn't know myself fully as who I am really. Maybe if I am rating that over 100%, maybe I am the 80% over 100. So again, there is three components from the empirical self that he is talking about. The first one is constituents, the second one is the self feelings, and the third one is self-seeing and self-preservation. So in the first constituents, it includes the material self, the social self, the spiritual self, and the pure ego. While the self-feelings, it is self-feelings, it's common. It is the feelings that you already know, or something like it is the feelings that you feel right now. Maybe you have problems and you feel that you are sad, that you are happy, that you are mad. So that is considered as a feelings that includes an emotions that you exert. While the self-seeing and self-preservation rather is about, like for example, you are in the supermarket and you saw or you see a wonderful and beautiful cloth and you wanted to buy it, but instead you don't have money, so you ask the owner to preserve it just for you, because maybe you come back tomorrow to pay for that. So something that is considered as self-seeing and self-preservation. So without further ado, let us talk about the material self that includes again the four: the body, the home, the immediate family, and the clothing. So here we go. But before that, let's take a minute, something like that. Well, those that for primarily we are deeply affected of ourselves or by these things, because we have put much investment of ourselves to them. That is according to William James. So let's talk about what is the body under the material self. So in the body, according to the core of James William, he said that body is the innermost part of our material self. Are you agree? Second, he said that we strive hard to make sure that this body functions well and good. So yes, it's true, because our body is ourself, right? So without our body is useless. We cannot do everything. So we must check ourselves if we are in the good what do you call this one? In good conditions, or shall I say all of the parts of our body will function it well or not. And he said that making sure it functions well and good. So that is what I'm talking about. Well, in my perspective also, The body is within ourselves whenever and wherever we are, in which we evaluate all throughout. You agree with me? Yes, indeed. That's it. That's the body, okay? And before I forget, the body is very important for us because we can't do anything what we want to do if our body is so weak and not functioning. So we make it sure that all of the body parts that we have is functioning well and in a good condition. For the second, James Williams said the cloth is a second to the body. He felt a person's clothes were important to the material self. What he's trying to say. Well, he believes that a person's clothes were one way they express who they felt they were, or clothes were a way to show the status, thus contributing to the forming and maintaining one's self-image. So that is really true because cloth, it is one way for us, or it is a second way for us to live here in this world, because you know that cloth gives us more what they call it, textures. It gives us a more brighter and shiner if who we really we are. And cloth is very important because it reflects the individual culture, personality, and preferences. And people can enhance personal appearance and protect the body from the extreme temperature. So we know that the essence or the purpose of cloth is to help or to cover our body from the extreme temperature. Like for example, in the afternoon, we know that the sun is so extreme, like burns our skins or something like that. Wherein cloth are the most second essential part of the self. So it can be distinguished. So that is the cloth, okay? And one thing, Herman Lotze, he said there that anytime we bring, let me read half, an object into the surface of our body, we invest that object into the consciousness of our personal existence, taking in its contours to be our own and making it part of the self. So again, that is part of the cloth, where I think he's trying to say here that we very invest ourselves into the cloth, and you cannot deny that because you have many cloth, right? So you invest much money for that, wherein you invest that because you love that, you like that, because I believe that the cloth that we are wearing every day is really reflect our personality, and it really reflects our attitude, if who we are and if who I am, so something like that. So now let us proceed to the immediate family. Well, immediate family, they are one of our near ourselves, because if our families or one of the member of families dies or getting failures, then we feel it too the same with them, because that is near in ourselves, and they are always okay, wait. Anyway, just to clear it out, the immediate family is talking about the parents, siblings, and other family members, wherein we view them as a part of ourselves. So that is what I am talking about earlier. That is what I am mentioning earlier, that immediate family is very near for us. So if what happens to our relatives, to our friends, to our parents, our siblings, so we feel it too. Like if they are sad, then it feels us sad. It feels me sad. If they feel like getting big failure, not success, So it's a big deal for me because I'm so sad because we are not success. So immediate family is something like you are planting yourself towards them because you are very near to them. As you are, I think this is a third essential important thing in our lives. And the last one is the home. So okay, let me check first. So according to James William, that um, home is where our heart is, and it is the earliest near or nest of our selfhood, and the home is an extension self because it we can directly connect it ourselves. So it's true. So he has a quotation: a man's self is the sum total of all what he can call his. That's the quote of William James. So going back to the home, yes, it is very near near in our self because it's your home, no? Bahay mo yun. Parang yan na yung ano mo, parang fourth essential self na parang without your home, it's useless because home or having a home, you can express what you want to express and you can do whatever you want to do, and basically home is an extension of ourselves to determine if what kind of the things we can do, or yeah, that's it. So that would be all. Thank you guys, and I hope that you understand what I'm talking about here, and I hope that all of you or the viewers who saw this vlog might get moral lessons from this because it is very important for us. So that would be all. Thank you and God bless. Bye bye.
Hi everyone, so good day. For today's video, we will be talking about political self. But before we proceed to that topic, let us first have a quick discussion about politics. So what is politics? It is defined as a social institution which power is acquired and exercised by people in the groups. So, in our government, we have the elected government officials. They have the power and they have their own positions because the people or the citizens in their country voted them. So we have this phrase from Aristotle that man in nature is a political animal. Yes, because a man is a social creature with the power of speech and moral reasoning. Many politicians are competing for the positions they want. They do their best, they give their power to win. So now let us discuss about what is political self. Organizes one's beliefs, attitudes, and affiliations. It constitutes knowledge about the Constitution, government, and governance. It aids or it helps process information that is related or that is only applicable to politics, and it makes up or form the understanding or knowledge about the Constitution, the government, and how the people in the government acts or governs. It shows or illustrates the principles and aspirations of a people and the people's way of thinking, and it also determines the status and power of the people. So normally a person or we have different ways, we have our own ways to express ourselves, to express our beliefs and our understanding. We defend what we believe is right, and political self is how an individual engages himself in political issues. Often defined by citizenship. As Serena Jokno, citizenship is the most basic identification with the nation. Person relates himself or herself to a group of others who also see themselves as citizen of a larger polity. When we say citizenship, it signifies a membership of an individual in a political community, meaning you are a member or part of a certain country. For example, me, I am a Filipino citizen because I was born and raised here in the Philippines, and both my parents are Filipino citizens. Social self and identity are developed through socialization, through the ways of people learn the knowledge, norms, values, motives, and even the roles appropriate or fit to their position in a group of community. And through interaction, people learn the status, rights, and power necessary to interact successfully with other people in a group or community. Political self is influenced and modified by opinions, by comments, and suggestions of other people. The family has a hierarchical structure. Through hierarchy of positions, status, and power. Example is the father. He is the head. He acts as a leader and establishes rules to maintain order in the family. He also provides the needs of the family. She is the advisor and the decision maker. She decides where the money goes, what to do with the money, and she teaches good morals. Child, their roles is to obey and have respect with their parents. This shows that authority is necessary in the development of political self and identity. The school. The school's responsibility is to teach moral, spiritual, and political values that will help the students to become patriotic and morally upright citizens. Political self can be seen in social media. We have this mass media. It is the key to the source of information on politics. And political self is a representation of oneself about herself. And it is a public identity that one's make and construct about herself to be. So I hope you guys learned something and thank you for watching.
So, we have here a Filipino hospitality. We have here a cheerful personality. Respect for elders.
here, and I'll be talking about our digital self. So when we say digital, it is all about your online self. What you present yourself in the web is your digital self. There are some personal things you can disclose in your social media like your name, age, birthday, and address. You can also share more personal info like your preferences, your hobbies, or your relationship status. The main reason why we share our digital self is the social approval. People are naturally hungry for others' approval. That's why they share personal things, positive things that to others so that they will be liked. When you say digital self, identity comes in. It is a collection of your characteristics that specify yourself. You can change some of these, like your hair color, while you cannot change some of these, which, for example, your birthday, your age, you cannot change that. And another thing is your online identity. It is the sum of your characteristics and your interactions on the social media, in the internet, and wherever online. There is also partial identity, which is just a subset of your whole identity, meaning it's just a fraction of your whole, whole identity. For example, one fourth of your whole identity is your partial identity. Uh, Another one is your persona, which also appears in specific situations. Like, for example, your online persona is a jolly one, well, and also it is different from your whole identity, which differs from person to person. So, yeah.